afternoon, sports fans. It is Thursday, November 5th, 2020. And while we do not know who the next president of the United States will be yet, we do know this. The MLS Supporters Shield will be between either the Philadelphia Union or Toronto FC after Columbus Crew losing last night eliminated them from the mathematical possibility of being able to go up over top of either of those two teams in the standings in the Eastern Conference, and therefore also as well in the standings for the Supporters Shield. So the MLS Supporters Shield, which will get contested out between games this weekend, will come down to matches for the Philadelphia Union, who play against the New England Revolution, and Toronto FC's match as well against New York Red Bulls. That will determine also who will get the 1 seed in the playoffs and who also will get the number 1 ranking in the CONCACAF Champions League. Now, there's a little bit of a rule shakeup regarding the CONCACAF Champions League this year, because there is normally berths that go to the MLS champion, the US Open Cup champion, the winner of the Canada Championship, and then a 4th berth that usually goes to the opposite conference team with the best ranking. That is not the MLS Cup champion. Because there was no US Open Cup, and because Toronto FC is in line to win the Canada Championship, there's a little bit of a shakeup in how things go with the berth. So the opposite conference championship spot that would technically go to Toronto FC per se, if they were to lose in the MLS finals to the Western Conference champion, is going to go to the Philadelphia Union regardless. Philadelphia also is a quote unquote opposite conference loser already from the MLS's back tournament. So there's a whole construct. Yes, you need a whiteboard and dry erase markers and a whole matrix to figure this out. Needless to say, easy said and done. Toronto FC is in the CONCACAF Champions League next year. Philadelphia Union, regardless of how they handle things in the playoffs, are in the CONCACAF Champions League next year. And we will see now who will end up with the Supporters Shield this weekend and who will have that number 1 seed in the playoffs. So MLS still a lot to play for on the board, even though the Columbus Crew now are officially eliminated from the Supporters Shield race, and it is a 2-club race to the finish line. Thursday night football tonight, 8:20 p.m. on Fox. The Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers, the 4-4 49ers, will be without starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and will be also without wide receiver George Kittle, both players out for injury. Kittle expected to be out up to at least 8 weeks with a broken foot. So the Niners are going to have to go with a banged up squad that is also dealing with COVID-19 protocols as well. They had a number of players who tested positive. They shut down their facilities through most of the past week and a half. They have not had practices. So the Niners are going to try to get up to 5-4, going up against a very tough 5-2 Green Bay Packers, who has their team completely loaded and ready to go. On the other hand, in other NFL news, the Texans, the Colts, the Chiefs are all in COVID-19 protocols after positive tests amongst players and coaching staff. And we just within the last hour found out that the Philadelphia Eagles have at least 1 player who has tested positive for COVID-19. That player is self-isolating. They are going through secondary PCR tests of all of the players and the coaching staff to determine if there are any other players or coaches who may very well test positive. They have also initiated contact tracing and informed the NFL's medical department so that they can also inform the Dallas Cowboys, who were the recent opponents of the Philadelphia Eagles, so that the Cowboys go through COVID-19 protocols as well to see if there are any players who test positive, as there is a undetermined situation right now regarding when the Eagles player who tested positive. We do not know who it is. Neither the Philadelphia Eagles organization nor the NFL has released the name of the player, but whether to see that player could potentially have been positive during the time, or at least asymptomatic during the time in which they played against the Dallas Cowboys this past weekend. So that means the Texans, Colts, Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Cowboys, that is 5 NFL teams all in COVID-19 protocols right now as we go on Thursday night leading into a week 9 of games in the NFL. The NFL has said that they continue to expect to go forward with the season as is normal. There are still discussions going on about the postseason, whether there will be bubbles for the playoffs and or whether there will also be a potential extended playoffs to 16 teams that would see everyone play in the wild card round. There would be no first round buys. That would just set up a straight play out in the wild card round. 2 games in college football tonight in the MAC Mountain West Conference. Excuse me. I still want to call that by its older names. Utah State against Nevada. That game kicks off at 7. Wyoming and Colorado State is the later game, kicking off at 9 before, of course, the slew of games tomorrow that feature a number of ranked teams, BYU and Boise State, Miami against North Carolina State, before we head into Saturday. And of course, the big game on Saturday, number 3 ranked now Notre Dame against number 1 Clemson. This is the defining game for the ACC, and Clemson, of course, will be without starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who is still in COVID protocols. Under ACC rules, he must be separated from the team for 14 days. So Lawrence will be ineligible to play for Saturday's game, Notre Dame against Clemson. What a wild week it has been in sports. What a wild week it has just been in the United States as a whole. We thank you very much for everyone who tuned into our election night coverage on Tuesday night. Political Goat Show with Uncle Felix, one of our highest viewed shows on the Sports Fan Base Network Rhode Island, and that is something quite amazing to say for a sports network. But we also want to thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in to all of our sports-related shows, whether it be from Play Like a Girl to Tom Gronkowski Show, Titletown, Throwdown, MMA Complete, Sports World Weekly, and this show right here, and That's the Game, each and every day at 4 p.m. on SFBN-RI, and to all of our fans in the New England Network who tuned into the live stream games that we've been bringing you. We know that times are tough, and we know that it's very hard to be able to have live fans in stadiums, and we are doing the best to work with every school in the Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts area to bring those live events to you and to your homes. If you are interested in finding out more information about how to bring your school's games onto the Sports Fan Base Network, please reach out to us at contact@sfbnri.com for more information. That's the game for November 5th, 2020. I'm Matt Jolas. Stay safe, wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands, and we'll be all together in a stadium very soon. Take care and good night.